Good afternoon, everyone. It's 3:10. I'm Cathy Coloff from IT Radix. Thanks for joining us today. In light of the current work environment, whether it's you're working remotely or maybe you're trying to get through the aftermath of the tropical storm, no time like the present to get more effective and efficient with teams and to rev up your team's experience. We have some folks today that are a little bit new to us, so I thought I'd just spend a tiny bit of time talking about myself and IT Radix. I've been at this IT game for over 30 years, graduated from Duke and Stevens quite some time ago. You can figure out how old I am now from those dates. IT Radix has been around since 2008, but I've been doing this much longer than that. We are in the northern New Jersey area. We provide IT managed services as well as co-managed IT support and consulting services. Very proud of some of the awards that we've won in our local community. Love my wonderful team of more than 30 folks, and we have a few of them here with us today. Our man behind the curtain, or the Wizard of Oz, is Dan, and you'll meet a few of our other participants today on the call, or you may. We are a Microsoft Silver partner, and we try to operate by living our core values out every single day. First and foremost, which is trying to be flexible and supportive. So as we are into this new world, we are obviously having everybody work remotely and with a small number of folks in the office. So Teams is a huge tool that we are using to be productive and efficient. I am an avid user of 365, but I am not necessarily the guru, and I'm always liking to learn new things, so we thought we would bring this to you today to talk about Teams. I'm going to try to keep it in 10 minutes, so I'll talk quickly, and we'll take some questions at the end. Before we dive in, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Teams from a security standpoint. I would be remiss if I didn't mention this pretty much every time. Teams is incredibly flexible and open by design, so we strongly encourage you to have somebody help you think out your team's environment to make sure that you're not opening the door or windows to would-be bad guys or folks outside of your environment that you don't necessarily want to have in your environment. One simple mistake can expose a lot more information than you might think. And with the remote workforce, those challenges have become even greater. Teams is constantly evolving, and so I'm going to go through a few of the highlights, just a few highlights today. I'm going to demo a few of them, and then at the very end, I'll do a Q&A. So here we go. Some of the highlights that I wanted to mention. If you're using Teams in the video, you've probably already noticed back when the COVID virus situation started, it was 2x2. Then they've expanded it to 3x3, and currently the 7x7 layout is rolling out. So if you're on 3x3, you may find over the next month or so that the 7x7 screen, which is where you have the 7 folks across and 7 folks down, sort of that souped up Hollywood Squares effect, will be coming out. And so if you haven't gotten there yet, be on the lookout for that. One of the other things that they've done is they've made it a lot more accessible if you're working offline for any reason, which a number of people are working offline in today's world after the storm where they've lost internet or power. If you're in an offline mode, you'll still be able to access chats or things that you've pinned even while you're offline, so that's useful. One of the other things I just wanted to point out is this pop-out feature that they rolled out a couple months ago. In the chat area, and then it's also coming for when you're doing videos and meetings and calls. So the idea there is that it lets you be a little more multitasking and more efficient. There's a concept called tags. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can use tags to make your communications more effective. And then I'm going to show you how to search more effectively inside of Teams. One of the things I will say is that Teams is available on all PC platforms, Mac or Windows. There is an app that typically we find most folks have the best experience using the app. There's also an app that you can run on your phones as well. So we encourage folks to run it through the apps, but you could, if you needed to, run it through the web as well. All right. So now I'm going to get into the demo. So let me just minimize that. And here we are in Teams. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to take a look around. So the work offline is if you have things that you've saved, which would show up over here under saved, or if you've pinned things in your Teams channels, these would be available offline. Now, obviously, I'm not in an offline mode, so I can't demo that right now, but this is the type of thing that you would be able to see all the conversations, even if you weren't on the internet at the time. One of the other things I wanted to show you or point out, because it's a little bit subtle, is when you're in a chat and let's say you wanted to pop it out, there's this little pop out over here in the upper right corner. If you pop it out, if you click that, you'll notice that it opens up another window, and it's just the chat that I'm having with that particular person or group of people. You can pop it out here. The pop out button is also, when you hover over it, you'll notice that it shows up right there. It's that little square with the arrow going to the upper right. That is a pop out, and so you can click on it and pop it out. One of the things that some folks in our organization use this for is if they're trying to remember that once you click on it, you'll notice that it went from bold, which was unread, to now it's no longer bold, which means it's been read. Some folks are using this as a way to help them to remember who they need to respond to and continue the conversation inside of Teams, so that if they've read it and they pop it out, then they know perhaps they still need to continue that conversation or respond to that chat if they can't get to it right then. The other thing with this pop out is if they're doing meetings or video, they are now starting to roll out the ability to pop those out, so you could have the video off to the side and the chat, the Teams and all the chats over here in a separate window. You do need to turn that on. You do that under your account, which is up here. You click on your name, you go under settings. There's a little checkbox here. You change that. Then you have to completely close Teams, completely, like reboot your machine, for example. And then the next time you come in, when you start a meeting or a video conference, it will pop out into a separate window. So that's under your name, under settings, and then check that box. You must exit completely. One of the other things that we have found pretty handy is you can create tags, which is groups of people that maybe you want to converse with. So one of the things that we're using it for here at IT Radix is that we have started a gradual return to work. And one of the tags that we've set up, or that I've set up, is that who are the people in the office for the week, because we're doing it on a weekly rotation. So I could easily just send an @mention out to the folks that are in the IT Radix office for the week, and it would then trigger on their teams that they could see who's here. I'm going to show you how to do this tags. In this case, we're looking at our demo environment. You can see I have some guests, and I also have, today I am Be Connected. Nice to meet you. And I have Just In Case is also working with me. So in our case, I'm going to show you some of our teams. So these are some of the teams that we've created for IT Radix. And what you can do is if you want to create those tags, you click on here and you say Manage Tags. Let me close this out of the way. And you can create a tag. Now I've created one here called Guest Management. So if there's some that are existing, they're here, and you can see that it's Be Connected and Just In Case. It's super easy just to add somebody. You can click on add a tag, give it the name that you want, and then add the people just by typing in their name here, and you can add them in. So for example, I have, to type a little slower, let's see. Rachel is a guest. You know what? It also matches your channels. So in this case, this team is strictly for internal, and Rachel is a guest. She is not part of this team, which is why I cannot add her to the tags. It will only allow you to add the people that are permitted to the team that you're working with. So the tags, the way it works with the tags, so let's just say I wanted to send out a little chat to the folks that are tagged. It's called Guest Management. You would just @mention that. And if you start typing Guest Management, it will, my tag is not popping in here for me. @guest, let me do it again. Hold on. Double check what I typed. Create my tag. So this is the tag. You can chat right here with the group, or you can @mention them in the channels. So what I need to do is when I'm in the channel, should be that I can do just, of course, it's not going to work for me. Did it perfectly yesterday. I'm going to do it again. Stay. How about that? All right. The tags are a new feature that just came out, and of course, they're not cooperating with me today. So I'm going to create a new one. Manage tags. Create your tag @guests. And I'm going to add the people. So I'm going to add Justin. I'm going to add myself, be connected. I'm going to create it. And then when you're up here, so I'm going to just close this. If you're in I'm sorry, you know what it is? I'm not doing a new chat. I'm doing search. My bad. So when I'm in a new chat, you'll see here you can enter the name, you can enter the email, the group, or the tag. So you can type in here the @guests, and it'll show you all the tags that you have or people that happen to start out with this, and you can pick whichever tag you want and use it to pick all those people. In this case, the tag only has 2 people, but you could have as many people as you like in your little tag group. And it's a way you can communicate within a subset of your organization if you so desire. The next thing I was going to just mention is what was giving me a little bit of trouble there is I was clicking in the search button here to try to do the new message for the tag, but this is intended, if you look at it, it actually says search. So what you can do is let's just pretend you wanted to search for the word magic. If you click on the word magic, it's going to show you all the conversations that have the word magic. But let's pretend after a while you've been using Teams for a long time, you've had lots of different conversations, and you know you spoke with Justin, just in case, specifically about the word magic. What you can do is if you want to just focus in on your conversations that you've had with Justin, you click on Justin, you do a Control F, you'll notice that the search bar changed a little bit. It says find, and it's focused strictly on Justin, and then I'm going to type the word magic. And when you do the results, only the conversations that I've had specifically with Justin are going to pop up here. I use this a lot. So if I talk about a lot of our different clients over the course of a day or a week, and if I'm trying to find a specific conversation about that client that may have happened 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I know I had it, for example, with Ken in our company, I can just focus on Ken. I can hit that Control F. It's Control F. You'll notice it changes the search bar up here to look like this. And then I can type that client name in, and then it'll pop up just the results no matter when it happened. You notice this one's way back from March, and it will find that hit for you. So those were 5 things that we wanted to sort of educate you about in terms of new features in Teams. We are going to do a recurring series on this. So in a couple of weeks, you'll see another invite coming out. We'll do a few more. And what I'm going to do right now, though, is pause because I do see a couple of questions popping in. And I see somebody who's very nice to me about my age. Thank you. But let's see. It says, does Teams sends the chat to Outlook any meetings or actions? So what Teams will do is if it senses that you're offline, it will send those chats to your email. And I may ask Dan to chime in here too, but I know for myself, if I am offline, I'm not logged into Teams anywhere, I do get an email that tells me I was mentioned or that this channel or chat was updated, and it shows up in my inbox and Outlook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
If I'm not online.
If I'm not online, that's right. If you're online, it's going to show up in your Teams chat, and it's just going to wait here for you until you read it. Let's see, the same thing with if you've been @mentioned in anywhere inside the Teams environment, it's going to send you an email. So I think that kind of addresses your ditto. Let's see, what are the advantages of Teams to GoToMeeting? What's the security? Who owns the data? Oh boy, okay, so this is a big one. All right, big question. So the advantages of GoToMeeting. So Teams and GoToMeeting are comparable environments. Teams can be used for internal meetings as well as external meetings. If you invite somebody who's outside of your organization, they'll get a link in the email and they can join the Teams meeting. So in my mind, very similar platform. If you've already got Office 365 or now it's been rebranded to Microsoft 365, you get it included in your subscription. So as long as you're on E1 or higher, or just any of the plans that include the email with Teams, it's just like GoToMeeting. It's included. There's no additional cost for you. So in my mind, that's an advantage. The other thing is it keeps everything inside of your own company Microsoft 365 ecosystem. And then in that situation, you can set up the Teams administrator, or your Microsoft 365 administrator can set up the permission as to who can get into what. So for example, we have all of these teams here in our demo environment. And if you were to click on them, you can go through each one and get a sense of, this one is organization-wide and it's only a guest. You'd have to drill in and find out who the guest is. But the Teams administrator, or whoever owns the team, is allowed to set the permissions. So it's generally somebody inside your organization is setting up the security. And then in terms of who owns the data, it's inside of your tenant. So in my purview, I believe that it belongs to you. Why did you choose to use Zoom to demo Teams? The reason why I chose Zoom to demo Teams is because sometimes we try to do video to video and they would be conflicting with each other. So we have found it easier just to do the Teams demo inside of a different platform so that I could show you all the functionality. If I was having a Teams meeting or a webinar, I would not necessarily be able to show you all the functionality at this point. I believe you could use either or for webinars. In this case, since we're trying to demo the platform Teams, it's just easier for us to do it all inside of the Zoom platform, so it's separate. Did I get all the questions, Dan? I think so. Any other questions?
Yep, that's all I see so far.
All right. So in the interest of keeping this short and sweet, that was all we had for today. But if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us, either my email address, or you can certainly give us a call. We will be sending you a feedback form, and there's a quick start guide if you like it. And again, we're just going to try to do just 3 or 4 little tips inside of Teams over the next few weeks so that it'll give you time to play around with those and get used to using them. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Cathy Coloff, and I am signing off.